Okay, I have cleared the phone boards. I apologize to other callers, but it wouldn't be congruent. I want to open the phones up this hour specifically and only for questions for the author of Defeating the Totalitarian Lie, Hilmar von Campe. I had him on for an hour a month ago or so. He was a Hitler Youth when Hitler first came to power. He was then in the German army. He grew up in the Hitler Youth to be trained to be in the German army. And he has written a book about the parallels between our society today and the police state and everything else in Germany, and this idea of doing whatever the government says, and the government is the boss, the people are the slaves. He wants to go back to 1776, not back to 1933. Now, I get a lot of emails, especially now that folks have seen Fall of the Republic, and they say, so what if they're training the Boy Scouts, the Eagle Scouts, with M16s to take on disgruntled veterans and to be a brigade serving Homeland Security? We'll just wipe them out. No, ladies and gentlemen, if they're 14 now, they're going to be 18 in a few years. This is the process of getting people young, indoctrinating them, and getting them ready. Sure, you might not have been too afraid of Hilmar von Campe when he was 12 in the Hitler Youth, or 10, but you would have been afraid of him when he was 18. Okay, that's the issue here, or 20 or 21. They're taking over the Girl Scouts. They've got, Obama's got his domestic security force, city year, all these groups in red and black uniforms saying, I'm fierce, coming to your door, knocking, trying to intimidate you. All this is really happening. And we've seen this in Soviet Russia, Nazi Germany, Eastern Germany under the communist, Fidel Castro. Tyranny tries to take control of the youth. Obama wants year-round schooling. He wants to address your children and ask them to aid him in his mission. This is a telltale sign of corruption. So I'd like Hilmar von Campe to recap the keys of his book, the parallels first, between what he saw in the Hitler Youth and in Germany itself and the Tattletale Society versus what he sees manifesting in the West today. And then we're going to go to your phone calls and questions at 1-800-259-9231, 800-259-9231. Questions only for Hilmar von Campe about the parallels between Nazi Germany and modern America and Europe today. And this system. Calls for our guest today in the 50 minutes we have left. Hilmar von Campe, author of Defeating the Totalitarian Lie. It's good to have you here with us.
Thank you very much. Delighted to be here.
Did you get a good response last time you were on?
It was the best ever. It was a very, very good response.
Even better than when you were on the 700 Club.
Well, that was a different story because that was a television. They came here with their equipment to my house. But on the radio show, this was the best ever as far as the reaction of the listeners is concerned.
Well, it's great to have you here with us, and I want to take calls today, do something different. But in this segment we have left here in the next 9 minutes, let's say you were on national television, you had 8 minutes to say your piece, the parallels, the warning from the past, the message you want to get out. You've got the floor.
Well, I think the most important thing is that we look at the whole picture and not only at individual acts which infuriate one. With other words, you can attack and they should be attacked. The trillions of dollars these people in Washington want to spend and debit them to our children and grandchildren is a scandal. And that has to be fought so that that these things must not be law. So therefore, at the same time, morality, totalitarian systems like the Nazi systems grow out of immorality. totalitarian system is not because of poor and rich people, but about God-abiding or immoral people. And that has all to be seen from the heart here, from the core, from what is it all about. And that is what I learned from the Nazis. It is all about the role of God in human society. And the World War II was, in my view, the first ideological war. There were two nations or two countries, Germany and Soviet Union, who represented a materialistic ideology, and the so-called free world, which is a democratic Western civilization. What made it is that I realized that afterwards, when I began to think about what it is that it is the godlessness which has brought Germany down.
And the totalitarians, they want to remove God because they want to be God. They put the state and the dictatorship and the power of the state. It becomes the new God, and everyone must follow it. Romans 13, Hitler's favorite Bible passage. That distortion, instead of people standing up for individual liberty and freedom and Western culture. And you're absolutely right about, I mean, obviously you lived it, but I've read the history, that happening. But I do think it's important, Hilmar von Campe, to show the parallels so that people can recognize it's happening, to hear from somebody who was a Hitler Youth and then a German soldier, to hear about this happened in Germany, now it's happening here. I think that's what wakes people up to understand that, well, Hitler tried to CPS and take people's children. They went all over Europe and grabbed Aryan children, what they believed to be Aryan, away from their parents. They took children that weren't Aryan and took them and killed them. They believed in the social welfare. They believed in racial hygiene. They believed in the eugenics. They believed in abortion. They believed in everything we're seeing now. They believed in free love, everybody having sex with each other.
Well, it is godlessness which brought Germany down. And the answer is, you have to have an answer to godlessness. We were told in the Hitler Youth and in school that you can pray and sing hymns in your churches and your homes, and but you have nothing to say in society. That's our job. In other words, they had realized that, as you correctly stated, that if there is an authority above government, they would have a problem with their program. So therefore, they wanted to push us out of society. Now, I say that the ACLU, for instance, is the advance guard of National Socialist ideology, because that is exactly what they are doing. They are taking God out of society, and they have been very successful.
Well, sir, we actually went and got the archives of the 20s and 30s and 40s of the leftist intellectuals, all the top names. We have them supporting Hitler on video. These were hard to get. We have them supporting eugenics. We have them supporting taking all the children at birth. And it was the left in the United States and England and Europe that actually supported Hitler. People think Hitler was right-wing. In that paradigm, he wasn't, was he?
No, he was the extreme left. And there was only just about a few days ago that in Germany, there is it would be the FBI here. That is a similar thing in Germany. And they are watching the right. And they are watching the right, which is a party, which is not a Nazi party, but which has conservative likes. And they say, now that the FBI, the German FBI, decided they will also watch the left organizations. And I realized, and the left began to protest that if you go from the right to the left, that is very bad, because they think the left is okay. And I realized that in the mentality and in the mind of the German of today, they have not understood what the Nazis are all about. They only have looked at the atrocities, but they have not looked at the fundamentals of
Hitler was a big environmentalist. He had to clean the earth of bad humans. He was a vegetarian. He was an animal rights activist. He was a national socialist.